gentlemen, and welcome to the lair of the film exorcist. Tonight, we will be doing Wrong Turn 6, The Last Resort, which is basically the 2014 sequel to Bloodlines. Yay! And thank God it's our last movie of the series. So, basically the plot is, it's 7 friends who go off with their, I guess, friend, if you want to call him that, who gains a family, gains an inheritance, and believes or finds out that he's actually a Hillicker, or a part of the family of cannibals that we've seen throughout the series. And he also gains a big-ass hot spring, which is pretty great. So basically, we go through similar hijinks from each movie. The cannibals end up killing, they end up eating, and not many are left of our main cast. So, yeah, let's get on to it. It was directed by Valin Milev, who's taking over for O'Brien. We have producers Jeffrey Beach and Philip Roth, writer Frank H. Woodward, music by Claude Foise, cinematography by Martin Chichov, edited by Don Adams and Cameron Hallenbeck. And on to the location, which we're staying in Bulgaria, ladies and gentlemen. We just don't know where. Anthony Illott is Danny. Chris Jarvis is Jackson. Aquila Zoll is Tony. Sadie Katz is Sally. Polo Skinner is Vic. Billy Ashworth is Rod. Harry Belcher is Charlie. Joe Gaminara is Brian. Roxanne Pallette is Jillian, who we also may know as April in Lake Placid 3, one of the great monster movies of this decade. We have Radoslav Parvanov as Three Finger. Danko Jordanov as Sawtooth, Esan Asanov as One Eye, Tabitha Luke Eardelay as Daria, Luke Cousins as Nick, and on to the slasher stats. Basically, in this movie, we've got 11 kills. Starting with Nick, who gets shot through the back of the head. Daria, whose eyes are impaled with barbed wire and decapitated. Agnes is impaled by axe and neck snapped. Sheriff Doucette is shot in stomach and through back of neck. Jillian's legs are broken and ripped off and throat slit. Brian's head is bashed through statue and smothered. Vic has his throat slit and gutted. Charlie is exploded by fire hose up the butt. Rod has his head slashed off with machete. Jackson Hillicker is hit 14 times with keys, which is pretty stupid because the keys were pretty fucking small in this movie. And lastly, Tony is impaled with a mattock, which I'll show you guys what that is in a couple of minutes. On to favorite kill, which for me is Daria loses both eyes and is decapitated. Guys, think of that old bird toy that you'd see in a few movies. They claimed it was a magic trick. It was basically Sparrow or Robin flipping around, making it look like it was moving. Think that, but more in the shape of a head. And the blood gushing out, and how it just easily flips over. I mean, better example might be a yo-yo trick, where you take both ends of the string, and just so gory. And I gotta say, the prop looked amazing. Least favorite kill is Vic becomes dinner. Basically, it's a dark shot where you can't really see much. You can't really see or barely see Three Finger cutting open Vic's throat with a knife, letting a flood of blood leak out for the rest of the cannibals to drink from. And then another dark shot of him slashing through Vic's body or gutting it, which, again, you can barely see anything. It's bullshit. And yeah, it's tagged on to the whole scene where we meet most of the Hillickers and the rest of the clans. But it just doesn't make it better. And again, it's very dark in the scene. And they've even got the line where Danny just tells his friend he does not know who he is, sorry, and just lets them drink from him. Just you want to kill, you have to make it visible. On to the facts. We have a budget of $1.2 million. Zac Efron can actually be seen in a missing poster on in the market scene on the bottom of the board. All copies were recalled due to a court case filed in Ireland because they had a real missing person poster in the film of a little girl who was missing during that year. Padislav Parvanov is the 5th person to play Three Finger. Talifa Luke Ardley is the 3rd actor from Game of Thrones. The two next to him are Roxanne McKee and Finn Jones from the 5th movie. There was a picture of Ashley De Laurentiis from Pretty Little Liars inside the hotel, so I'm guessing there are some Pretty Little Liars fans in the cast or in the crew. Last in the franchise until reboot, thank God. And the restaurant is actually named Tony's Restaurant in memory of Danny's girlfriend. Aww. It would be sweet if he wasn't the one that let them kill her or wasn't about to kill her. So, basically, on to my opinion. Starts out with a double homicide and leads into a party for the elderly. I mean, really, do we need a lemon party in this series? I mean, it's boring enough, but old women drinking tea? Really? And after all that excitement with the bikers, it was interesting to see all the new inbreds in the movie in their reunion, and funny to see that the brothers are still the ugliest in the family. I mean, everyone's got like warts or missing pieces of their face, where the Hillickers are basically just goblins. Or just badly deformed creatures. I mean, where the fuck did the ugly tree come from in this family? For a Wrong Turn movie, it was pretty slow and boring because the kills were boring. You were a bit exciting, like my favorite one, Daria getting her head and eyes cut off, but I just found a lot of them stupid. I mean, the hose kill has been done a lot. The axe kill, yes, it's interesting, but they really just knocked her into a wall and snapped her neck. It's pretty stupid. And then the chicken, the girl who gets her legs pulled off like a chicken, which I don't recommend eating KFC while watching this movie, but you barely get to see them eat the legs. I mean, yeah, they slit her throat and they ripped them off, but you barely get to see much done with the legs or anything with it. If it wasn't a part of the series, or if it was a standalone movie in another series, I might actually have paid more attention to this, because I kept on glancing over at something else or playing a video game while watching this, because, again, there was no way it was going to catch my attention in any part except for the beginning, and that was about it. It's not as funny as the other few. I mean, yeah, 5 had its cheesy jokes, but it also had a great actor, and it actually tried to make jokes. This one, no. There wasn't really anything in it for me. The last few movies tried to make it into like a horror comedy, but this just made it into a boring, old, stale, cheesy movie. And they didn't even try to put much effort into the kills. I mean, yeah, there was the whole police officer parallel to the deer scene, which I kind of enjoyed, but again, it's just, we've seen so many bow and arrow kills in this series, and we've seen so much done in this series that it just makes this look bland. So yeah, basically, I'm giving it a 2.5. Yeah, I had a few kills I liked. The makeup of Three Finger was completely ugly. I mean, it's not even like they tried. But, yeah, it could have been way better if, I mean, it's better than 5. It's just not my cup of tea, and I doubt it's anyone else's. They barely tried with this movie, and with the sudden change of director who actually knew what this movie was for or what it was supposed to be like, it just ruins it. This is why I don't like when they change the directors for movies. But yeah, 2.5. Thank God we're done with this series. We'll see you guys next week with Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, for May the 4th. And we'll be continuing the Star Wars series through May, and maybe we'll go back to some horror back in June and July. So, good night, goodbye, and we'll see you next week.